Hey, Chefy K here. We are doing another little video on some great food you can make with our seasoning salt. And today we are highlighting deep, dark, and smoky. And this stuff is luxurious and luscious. Look at that. I wish you could smell it. It is so delicious. I love the color of this one. I know I say that about all of them, but they really have a great rich color, and we use only fresh, real ingredients. There's no junk in these, no fillers, nothing. 3 types of fresh ground chilies, fresh garlic salt. Boom, that's all that's in there. Good stuff. Okay, so today we're gonna make a really fun little quickie vegetable blend. And when I say quick, I can never do anything quick, so I'll do the best that I can. But here we go. So we're gonna do a squash, winter squashes, butternut, sweet potato, and this is a red garnet sweet potato, and some carrots. And we're gonna make a chunky diced vegetable blend, and we're gonna season it with, we're gonna oil it up with some olive oil, some extra virgin olive oil, and some of our deep, dark, and smoky seasoning salt, which is why we're living here today. I'm sorry, not that good, but it's really good. Okay, so here we go. So, the thing you want to do with these vegetables is, this kind of vegetable is just know that there is not really a big, easy way of doing it. So a bigger knife is better. If you go attack this thing with, something like, something like this, you're going to be sad and overworked. Okay, so here's the deal. Nice and sharp. This is a cool knife too. Check that out. Isn't it pretty?
Where'd you get that?
Got this at Culinary Apple. It's just so pretty. It's so nice. Look at the hand inlaid, the inlaid wood, completely solid. Okay, so this knife, nice and sharp. What you want to do is let's just start by cutting the end off. Like I said, this is not easy, but it's just, I'm going to show you the best way I know how. And then let's try cutting this end off. Now also, if I just wanted to do a half a squash, let's think about that for a minute. You don't have to process a lot of food sometimes, it's like, wow, that's a lot of squash. Let's just do a half a squash today. So let's not have to cut this end off. Let's just cut this end off. And let's just cut off a chunk of this squash, like that much. And this can be put away, and it'll last a lot longer if it's not in little bits and pieces in a bag or something. So you could just put this in the fridge with a little teeny piece of plastic wrap on it or something, and put it away. Okay, but now what we have, this is no skin on the ends. This will make it a lot easier to peel. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna peel down the side like this. I never show people how to use a knife this way because this is the only time you need to do it. So, because this is weird food, right? It's really hard. And what you wanna do is get your body weight above the food. You wanna have it below you. You don't wanna have it out here because you don't have any leverage, but have it like this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold the knife like this, and we're going to use both this hand and this hand. We're just gonna rock the knife and take off the skin, okay? And then we're just gonna look and see where the next line is, and we're gonna try to make a straight line if we can. And try not to take off too much flesh, so you just easily, see how you get in the groove. Just get a little bite in behind the skin and push down. A little bite in behind the skin and push down. You can go as slow as you need to. And it's, once that's all off of there, and you can, as you get better at it, then you can start doing it like this, and you don't have to use both hands. And as long as your knife is nice and sharp, it works really well. Just lots of control. Okay, then we get rid of that. And we have this beautiful piece of squash. Look at the color of that. Okay, so all dicing starts with chunks like this, and then we go to slabs. Slabs look like, you know what a slab looks like, right? Just a big slab of food right there, boom. And we're going for big chunks. I really like big chunks of vegetables when I do roasted vegetables because they, little teeny pieces get it's too much surface area. We've created a ton of surface area. This is less surface area, so we have better browning, okay? And so I like chunks, bigger chunks. And it's easier to do bigger chunks anyway, so just do it this way and you'll save a lot of time and effort. So I'm gonna go with chunks like that. It doesn't have to be rocket science or micrometers or anything. It's just simple, right? Chunks like that. And you can handle as many as you can handle. If it's one at a time, then just do that. Or if you wanna stack them on top of each other, you can do that. Whatever you feel safest doing. But we're looking at like 3/4 inch, maybe almost 1 inch chunks on some of those. And then what we're gonna do is, since we're using all vegetables of similar density. All of these vegetables, this, and this, these are all hard vegetables, right? They're all hard vegetables, so we can go with the same size, and we can put them in the oven at the same time, and we'll have success because they'll all cook at the same rate, which is nice. Okay, so just get this thing chunked up, and then we'll move on to our next vegetable, the carrots. So the carrots, I already washed them. I'm just gonna trim off the ends. I don't have to take off very much. There's no reason to take any more food off than is necessary. There's no reason to waste it. You can cut chunks like this if that's easiest for you. That's perfectly fine. If you want to do a different size, or sometimes what I'll do is, because they're skinny up here, sometimes I'll cut chunks like this until I get to the thick part, because that almost gives me more sense of the same size. And then if the carrot's too big up here, I might cut it in half and then continue doing chunks like so. And I still have kind of similar size chunks, but also, you know, girthy chunks, you know, that have some substance to them, because we're all gonna go into a hot oven together. So we wanna make sure they're doing good in there. So I'm gonna do this one the same way. I'm just gonna take off the first few bits from the end, and then I'm gonna split it that way, and then chunk them up this way. There we go. Nice and easy. Then we got this thing. Let's just peel it. I'm not a big fan of sweet potato peeling. I think it's just kind of thick and chewy. It's a texture issue. It's edible. You can totally eat it if you'd like. It's probably good for your diet to have all that extra fiber. It just doesn't appeal to me in my mouth when I'm chewing it. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And then we're gonna go ahead and just size. I always size up my vegetables. What am I gonna do with this thing? If I'm looking for chunks like that, I'm gonna go, well, maybe I just cut off a pretty good chunk like that, and that's almost the same size as all of those, right? And I do the same thing with this end, and then I can cut it in half. Because you know what ends up happening is we cut the vegetables the same every time, and then we end up with a whole bunch of itty bitty pieces and a whole bunch of big pieces. But if we just think about it for a minute, we can figure out how to make it about the same size. We just might have to size up the thing and cut it in stages. So you can see what I'm doing now is I'm making these big long strips, but they're thick, and then I'm just gonna chunk them up like so. Nice and easy. Then we're gonna put them all into a bowl. And we're gonna add enough olive oil just to coat them and make them shiny. So just put a little bit. You can always add more, but once you get all the olive oil all over the vegetables and there's like a ½ inch of olive oil on the bottom of the bowl, it's just really kind of wasted, you know? So just go with a tiny bit, because the only fat you need is enough to make them shiny. You can see how they're getting shiny. And I like to toss them around and use a bowl. Don't do it the way where you take a pan. I should have got the pan out already. Don't do it the method where you the best way to do this is to pour it, use a bowl to mix in, okay? So you get them nice and shiny with olive oil. And then you take the seasoning salt and you sprinkle it on. I talk about this in my other videos, but our salt is not dry. It's fresh garlic based. What I mean is by fresh garlic, like applesauce, fresh garlic, right? It's pureed garlic is what we use in this. Don't use dry garlic or granulated garlic, powdered garlic of any sort. So it has body, it's supple and it's got texture. And it doesn't sprinkle like powder. You almost kind of throw it. I like to spin it between my, I like to take a little bit. I probably got like a quarter of a teaspoon in there. I like to spin it between my fingers and just toss it just a little bit. And then give the bowl a toss, or give the bowl a stir, or give the bowl whatever you need to get it all over everything. The mistake people make is they do these roasted vegetables and they take cut vegetables with no oil and they put them on the pan and they drizzle the oil on like this. And they do the best job they can, but you just can't do a good job. and then they sprinkle the seasoning on it over like this. And what you end up with is dry vegetables with no seasoning and some vegetables with tons of seasoning and all of the olive oil right down the middle. Like, so nothing's evenly cooked. It just doesn't work. This is the best way to do it, okay? Put them in a bowl, toss them around, put the seasoning on, toss them around. If you're not sure if it's seasoned enough, then always check.
How much do you think you're putting on there total?
On this whole thing, I might have put 3/4 of a teaspoon, probably. And then put it out like that. And the idea is not to overload the pan. Roasting is a dry heat cooking method. Dry heat meaning no moisture. You're trying to limit moisture or minimize moisture. So you open big open pans, high heat. No, we're not trying to contain steam. We're trying to let steam go away. So that's a dry heat cooking method, roasting. And so we want to keep, if we stack these on top of each other, they just create steam and you might as well boil them. If you want a nice, roasty, caramelized, delicious vegetable, like all these orange vegetables, they're going to be so nice. They're going to get brown and, But if you have a pile of them or they're really too small, they just create tons of steam and just get steamy instead of brown. Okay, so I'm going to put these into the oven. And we'll come back in a few minutes and let you see how they are. Okay, look at these babies. Rusty vegetables. Oh man, lots of orange going on. But man, it's delicious. Smells great. Potatoes, carrots, sweet potatoes, carrots, and butternut squash. So then let's just move it on to our sheet pan. Oops, sorry. Let's just sit there. Okay, let's put them on there. Onto a serving platter now. Let's see how they look. I like to leave them a little bit. I kind of like to, you know, you might dump them in a bowl, but you know, it's not bad on a tray. You know, looks kind of pretty, a little different than you would normally do. You know, a lot of times we put a dish like this into a bowl, but sometimes I think putting things on trays looks so nice. Mounded salads or mounded vegetables like this just looks so open and beautiful. Gets cold faster, like if you're serving on a buffet, but if everybody's really intent on eating, it's not too bad. All right, well, there it is, folks. Look at those babies. Oh, they're so hot, too. I want to eat one right now, but they're so hot. But I know they're delicious. And even if I ate one and told you how delicious they are, you still wouldn't taste it. But you can taste it as soon as you go. Oh. Check it out. Our website, chefyknca.com. You can buy this beautiful, delicious salt. Delicious. And our cool new packaging that is, 9 grams compared to 175 grams is the packaging weight difference between a glass jar and this. So I just think it's a green thing, you know. We're trying to be green, you know. It's got a little bit of plastic. Not proud of that, but still keeps our product fresh. Very little plastic. Craft paper packaging, looks good. Eat some vegetables, look at that stuff. It's gonna be good.